we have another weather system out here. Now, this is going to be a big cold front. It should arrive here with lots of rain and cold temperatures, too.
We're going on the big one this week. I'll tell you, we have a big drop in temperature by this weekend, and there's this little storm in the Gulf of Mexico that's supposed to develop, and you know when those things get together, what happens? And then it all begins taking shape. And watch what happens on Saturday. Oh, well, it goes all the way down into northern Florida. Frigid to cold air will cover much of the eastern half of the country. This is where the storm will be forming. So there'll be thunderstorms, there'll be rain, there'll be showers, then ice. But once it moves to the south into the Gulf of Mexico later tonight, it's going to be like throwing gasoline on a fire. This thing is going to explode.
The flurries just started here.
Perhaps it is sleet, maybe snow, maybe
it's
snow.
It's a virtual blizzard that is headed our way.
Because a lot of people we talk to aren't really convinced his forecast is all that right.
Watch it come out here, just feet on that Gulf water, just boom, just blow up into a massive winter storm.
It was raining lightly about an hour ago, but now it's picking up a lot heavier, and there are also little pin-sized pellets of ice, too. So, Glenn, if you're listening, I have faith in you. We're live from Midtown.
Rely on us. We'll be here. Have fun. It's going to be a big one, folks.
Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Glenn Burns was on top of the blizzard of 93 all week, so no one should have been surprised.
But much of Metro Atlanta was caught off guard by the power and the intensity of the blizzard. It roared through here, then up the East Coast, and became known from start to finish as the storm of the century.
From Friday night, March 12th through Monday, March 15th, the Channel 2 Action News team provided unprecedented coverage of this major weather story. We set aside regular programming for hours at a time.
We appreciate the calls and letters and thanks from many of our viewers. We're proud of our coverage and pleased that we are able to provide highlights of Action News coverage to you on this videotape.
We've included stories about the fierce winds whipping snow through downtown Atlanta and reports on the Metro and North Georgia areas suffering through power outages, to the continuing story from Joyce Oscar of life on Fort Mountain.
And we have the human stories of people who were determined to make the best of this storm. Our highlights begin Friday night, March 12th, when the first reports of the big storm were starting to come in.
From Georgia's news leader, WSB-TV Atlanta. Coverage you can count on with Monica Kaufman, Don Farmer, Glenn Burns weather, and Chuck Dowdle sports. This is Channel 2 Action News at 6.
Get ready, Georgia. Mother Nature isn't ready to hang up her winter coat yet. These storm clouds are an omen of things to come. A late winter storm, potentially powerful and dangerous, is moving into Georgia. And the weather storm watch is our top story on Action News at 6.
The mountains of North Georgia could see as much as 20 inches of snow this weekend. In Murray County, northwest of Atlanta, snow flurries are already reported, and residents of Dalton have also cited some light snow. That part of the state is bracing for a heavy snowfall.
People all around Metro Atlanta are stocking up on supplies, and the Department of Transportation has the salt trucks ready. If you live in Atlanta, you could see about 4 inches of snow. The North Metro area could get even more.
The storm has already pummeled Alabama, and there are predictions the Birmingham, Alabama area could get 18 inches of snow. The situation is being repeated in Tennessee. The snow will probably hit first in northwest Georgia. Our live team coverage begins tonight with Joyce Oscar in Murray County. Joyce.
Well, Richard and Monica, we are live at the end of the Blue Ridge Mountains on Fort Mountain, and the flurries just started here a few minutes ago, started picking up. It's starting to stick to the ground as well, and you can hardly see the mountain behind me. And here's a close-up shot of the flurries that have started here in Murray County. The school system here in Murray County has canceled all school activities, after school activities that is, so they are ready and everyone is braced here for the big snowfall. Now, tracking the snow preparations in Cherokee County is Don McClellan. He joins us live now with the vantage point there. Don.
Joyce, I'm not sure whether we're having as much precipitation here as you are up there, but we're having some. Probably you can't see it as well on camera. Perhaps it is sleet, maybe snow, maybe snow. I'm an optimist. Everyone is cheering for the snow to come on, come on. S-N-O-W, snow. A snow cheer from these Cherokee County students.
As I'm from Illinois and I miss it so much.
Northerners transplanted to the South are often puzzled about how we act about just the prospect of snow.
And I don't ridicule it. It's just like funny to see them go crazy over snow.
Any extra shopping because of the expected weather?
No, we're a little used to this kind of weather. We're from New Jersey. A little snow doesn't bother us.
Many stores are packed, shoppers anticipating the worst, or maybe the best.
Mainly just getting some beer, or we'd be snowed in for the weekend.
They say it's going to come in here, so I thought I'd better get stocked up a little bit.
Buying any extra?
No, I don't think so. I don't believe it'll last that long. It's March, man.
Time to admit my ignorance. I know about making snowmen, but did not know about making snow angels.
Well, you get in the snow and you lay down and just move your arms and legs. And you can make snowmen, too.
But the snow angel, you get down in the snow. And
Yeah. And you just move around.
And that makes you a snow angel?
No, you get up and there's a little thing on the ground and it's like a snowman.
You get that? No snow angels or snowmen possible out here on this wet pavement right now, but we're anticipating that what is now mainly liquid will become a little bit more solid as the evening grows on. We're live from Cherokee County. Don McClellan, Channel 2 Action News.
Looks like they're all expecting and looking forward to the snow.
By Saturday morning, the blizzard of 93 was hitting the metro Atlanta area.
Just north of Atlanta in Ackworth, there was heavy snow on the ground. There have been reports of sleet and ice around Marietta, and sand trucks have been out trying to keep the roads clear for those drivers who have to drive. The biggest problem appears to be power outages from downed trees. More than 60,000 people are now without power at this hour, and our understanding is that number is growing. Reporter Jeff Dorr is live with more on the problem. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Lisa. I hope you're warm and dry in there. It is really awful out here. We were thinking earlier, gee, I wish I was home with the kids so we could take them out in this and, go sledding around. I made it slow. There's one of those gusts that just about knocked Bill Jordan and myself. He's got the camera and just about knocked us off our feet. We are downtown in the middle of Atlanta, and cars are having a hard time getting through here. As you can see, MARTA buses are coming by. Cars, four-wheel drive. Somebody once described this as sort of yuppie suburban assault vehicle heaven on a day like this. Everybody's getting out in their four-wheel drive to have fun, but it's not too much fun, to tell you the truth. The wind is really high. We can show you about how it's piling up here just on this one sidewalk. We're at, what, a half an inch, 3/4, maybe 1 full inch right now. The wind is the real problem, and it is severe down here. It's been a problem for Georgia Power. We are outside of their Weather Central Command headquarters, and they told us a little while ago at least 60,000 people in North Georgia are without power, but they said the number has to be higher. They're just trying to keep up with how many are out. They also said, their spokesman said, that they fully expect people in the metro Atlanta area through the day will be losing power. People who have it now will lose power because of the nature of the storm. It's wet, heavy ice, a lot of wind, and that combines to pull down a lot of power lines, and so expect it to go out. I'm glad that you're someplace with lights and a TV right now. We talked with a spokesman from Georgia Power earlier. Here's some of what he said.
We know at this point we've got at least 60,000 people out. Most of those people are up in the northwest quadrant of the state, up around Rome, Cartersville, that area. We are expecting, though, a lot more as the day gets longer. As you can tell, in the metro area, it has just really hit us. And we know at this point we're going to have outages in the metro area.
One of their big problems is, you're used to seeing in bad weather people's lines in the street going down and that kind of thing. But those big, long transmission lines that carry power across the state, one of those went down around Valdosta sometime early in the morning. The conditions are so bad, Georgia Power hasn't been able to get a helicopter up to find out exactly where it went down. And so they don't know exactly how they can reroute their electric transmission through the state. So that is a big problem that's causing them a lot of headaches. Over at the Hyatt, there are a whole lot of people over there waiting for taxis so they can get to a convention, and they're all standing out there, but taxis are few and far between, and so there's a long and very cold wait. We've talked to visitors to Atlanta from Chicago for a convention, and they're going, hey, wait a minute. They told us it was 75 degrees when we were packing to come down here. Remember that? That was just about a day or two ago. We are live in downtown Atlanta. Pretty miserable out here, but Channel 2 Action News, back to Lisa.
One thing, it seems that people are staying off the roads. Not a lot of traffic behind you. A lot of times people like to get out and see everything.
There's not much to go to today because just about everything's closed down, I think. You know, most employees aren't there, so there's nothing much to go to in your car.
It's great. It's really exciting, but folks, it also is a very dangerous situation. You really should not be out in the system. You should be at home, sitting in your houses and protected, because we have a lot of strong winds out there, gusts up to 25 and 35 miles an hour just so far, and the potential is even greater than that. We want to look at where the storm system has been, if we can, on our computer, and we can show you where everything is located. Here is, you can see the almost circular bands. This storm system is so strong and so powerful that the pressure intensity of this storm system dropped down to 28.93. Now, for a lot of you, you don't quite understand what the low pressure is, but the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm system, the tighter that the system is wrapping around itself, and it gives very strong and gusty winds as the system. It's almost like a hurricane. Right now we are expecting in the Cobb County area and all of metropolitan Atlanta as much as 4 to 12 inches of snow during the day, and there will be strong and gusty winds along with this, as much as 20 to 30 miles an hour, possibly 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. That means blowing and drifting snow, winds strong enough that you can't get outside and walk around in it, and it's going to even blow your car around on the highways. So far, these are snow amounts just in from the National Weather Service. We're looking at 6 to 12 inches of snow so far that has fallen across that area, and also 8 to 10 inches of snow in the northern suburbs, northwestern suburbs of Atlanta, 1 to 3 inches of snow in the southeastern suburbs. Blizzard warning now in effect for Metro Atlanta, North Georgia, and also for eastern Georgia.
We knew this was coming. We were preparing for it, but it's interesting. The Department of Transportation has said that they are really advising people to stay off the roads. Only essential travel if you have to get out and about. Going now to Murray County, Joyce Oscar has been there all night long. She joins us now live, where major power outages are affecting thousands and thousands of people, and a signal's a little shaky there, Joyce. I know we've got high winds there, but what can you tell us so far?
Lisa, if you didn't know it, there is a mountain behind me, but you can't see it because we are in the midst of a blizzard here. The conditions are unbelievable, at least in my estimation of what I thought Georgia was going to be all about. If you can pan down to me, you can see that I am standing in snow that the drifts are like up to my knees. The snow is so bad. Our live mobile bureau is out here. We're panning over to let you see what the truck looks like. It's probably going to be buried in snow pretty soon. We've got power outages, as you had said. I'm told that, the power went out in the middle of the night, and we could feel the wind was so great here that we were at the Cahutta Lodge on Fort Mountain, and you could feel the lodge swaying back and forth. That's how great the wind is. And I'm told that the power could be out for upwards about 3 days here, because it's going to take that long for crews to get here and to be able to restore power. So it looks like we're going to be staying put for some time, so you'll be able to come back to us when you can get us. Reporting live at Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Joyce, how are people dealing with the outages? I know you're having a little trouble probably moving around, but have you had a chance to really talk with folks today? I know you've been there all night and talked to folks, so what about this morning?
Well, it's interesting because last night a lot of people came from Metro Atlanta to enjoy the snow in a mountain lodge, and they thought they could use their toboggans and go down the hill and things like that. Well, this morning, now that we have no power and we are using candles and so forth, people aren't feeling so great. We've got a lot of children here, and a lot of people are wanting to go home, and unfortunately it's going to be a while before we all go home.
Yeah, I guess something like this, the novelty wears off pretty quickly, doesn't it? Get out
Sure
and enjoy it, but then you don't want to stay out there too long. All right, we'll check back with you later, Joyce. Thank you, and stay warm, too.
Good morning. Yes, things do seem to be deteriorating, so to speak. This weather system is really quite intense as it's churning along and getting ready to head up the northeast coast. We would like to take a look out at the snow that's going on outside if we can, and you can't see from tower cam very well, but that is from the camera on top of our tower outside the WSB studios, looking down, I believe, at ground level. Here we are. That was looking down on the parking lot. Now this is out our back door, showing the snow falling, and the trees are covered. The ground is really being covered up right now. Our temperature at the airport at this time is about 30 degrees. Our relative humidity is 100%, as you might expect. Winds are strong and gusty out of the north, 24 gusting to 44 miles per hour. Wind chill right now, 1 degree above zero. The barometer is falling at 29 inches even at this point.
Right now we want to check on Jeff Dorr, who's standing by live in Metro Atlanta to fill us in on what the situation looks like. He's been out all morning taking a look at things. Jeff, how's it look?
Okay. Hi, are we on? Okay, it's hard to tell out here. The wind is so fierce. When you get downtown, it blows between these buildings and builds up speed. And I tell you, it's like some of the hurricanes we've reported out of down here. I don't know. Yeah, can you see these guys back here? It's hard through the snow. They have got the lift gate on the back of their truck. They've lowered it down, and they're standing on it for weight, and they're going around and around in circles in the front of the Hyatt, trying to use that as sort of a homemade snow plow. They've been doing that for the last hour, and I guess it's working pretty well. The taxis are coming in and out of the Hyatt. What few taxis are coming downtown today. The wind down here is the real killer right now. As far as the comfort level, as far as Georgia Power is concerned, we're right outside of their headquarters where they do their storm assessments and marshal all their forces. We have Rick Kimball with Georgia Power. What is the situation now with the power company?
Well, Jeff, as you can see, this is not a cutesy snowstorm like we're used to sometimes. This is a major blast of snow, and we have still got problems with power lines coming down. We're still assessing the problem, trying to figure out exactly how many people we have out. We know we've got at least 60 to 70,000 people out. Most of those are Atlanta north, but we know we're going to have more. With a storm like this, you've got such widespread damage. You've got to get out there and find the problem first.
Now we're getting blown off our feet here again. Rick, these guys from the power company are tough. He's got his zipper down on his coat, no hat. What is the situation down in Valdosta with this major transmission line?
We have got reports of transmission lines down. We don't exactly know how many people are out right now. We're still trying to get a figure on that. Apparently some pretty bad storms came through. I understand they had tornadoes even in North Florida, so we don't know if we had tornado force winds, but something happened to get those high power lines.
And we're using your face as a visual expression right here of how it's building up on this side and not on that side of the wind. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. You can head on back in where it's warm.
Okay.
We have a little bit of video of some of the traffic trying to drive around downtown, and people trying to get their footing, cars slipping and sliding. We can't see that right now. Our generator on our truck has been coming and going, so we can't really tell you exactly what video we're looking at. All we can tell you is that it is miserable. This is not a time, as Rick was just saying, for the kids to be out playing in it. Maybe when this wind dies down. Karen Minton described this earlier as a winter land-based hurricane, and that's what it is. Low pressure. It is in all effects a hurricane, but not the summer ones you see coming in off the tropics, off the ocean, but a land-based winter hurricane, and it is bad. And as he said, power lines, you don't even have to step on one or be near one. If you're in the snow, just being close to a bound power line can give you that electrocution, so be careful out there. We're reporting live downtown. I'm Jeff Dorr, Channel 2 Action News.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Try and keep warm if you can. We'll check back later. All right, thanks a lot. Obviously, DOT officials are telling folks to stay off the roads if they can help it. One example, obviously, of bad traffic on I-20 east of Atlanta. Our Steve Gasquet is standing by live to show us why people really should stay off the roads. This is serious weather, Steve. What can you tell us about this traffic accident?
Lisa, this is unbelievable driving out here. Now, this is a good example of why you should not be on the roads today. We have passed dozens of cars that are in the ditch on the side of the highways and the ditch on the side of the roadways. It's just an unbelievable driving condition out here today. These gentlemen came across this Dodge truck that came off I-20 East, not too far from Conyers. They're trying to get it on the back of their flatbed truck, but it's quite a challenge. And as I said, in our drive over here this morning, we were on our way over to Conyers to the apparition sighting of the Virgin Mary, and we must have seen 12, 15 cars in situations just like this. Hey, let's see if they can brake for a second. Hey, buddy. Stupid question, but I guess business is pretty good, eh?
Real good.
Now, what would you advise to people who head out on the road today?
Stay off the road.
Yeah.
That's best advice.
How many cars have you had to tow so far?
4 this morning.
Yeah. And a lot more that you can't get to?
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there we still got to get to.
Okay, well, we're going to get out of your way. Thanks for joining us on the morning show, and we'll take some more live pictures of this car getting towed up onto the highway and back into its owner's driveway, because, folks, this is awful. Now, again, we should remind you that this truck went off the road in an area that has been relatively lightly affected by this snowstorm. Other areas have a lot more snow than we have here. But still, just 1 inch or a half an inch of snow can be treacherous on the highway. So folks, if there's any way that you can avoid getting up and into your car and onto the roads today, please try not to. So Lisa, you look like you're warm and safe there in the studio. Probably a great place to be.
It sure is. You know, it's interesting. We always joke about it out in the field that when the weather is bad, we tell folks to stay in, but we have to be out in it. How are you all doing getting around?
Oh, Lisa, we've never had so much fun. The truth is, though, we have a big Bronco, we have a big four-wheel drive. We're getting around pretty easily today. And as you can see by these shots of I-20, once cars get on the road, they tend to slick down the snow and it just turns to mush. And it's not too bad if you have a four-wheel drive. But even so, folks, we were really sliding around pretty well out there this morning. So we can get places, but we have to get places. If you don't have to get places, I'd suggest you just stay where you are and watch Lisa on TV.
All right, and Steve, thank you very much for keeping us up to date. We want to keep you up to date now with Karen Minton, who's been tracking this storm all night and all morning, too. She joins us now from the Weather Center.
The temperature has dropped now in Atlanta at Hartsfield Airport to 29 degrees. Visibility at the airport is 1/8 of a mile, and winds gusting to 38 miles per hour. So, Lisa, the storm is still in its winding up stage, and we'll have more things to report as we go through the morning.
Karen, this is something David Chanley always calls transitional, right before spring, but we're also hearing these big cracks of what sounds like a little thunder outside.
We are getting thunder. We're getting lots of thunder and lightning with this. The storm system is very intense. The pressure is quite low. It's very tightly wrapped around. And on the radar pictures this morning, as we've watched them through the morning hours since about 5 o'clock, you could almost see spiral bands coming around this thing in a counterclockwise flow as it wrapped around, just like you see in hurricanes out in the Atlantic during the summer and in the early fall.
We want to show you a live picture now in Carroll County. There's about 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground there right now. Our cameraman is in Sand Hill, halfway between Villa Rica and Carrollton. He tells us that you're looking at a house about 300 feet away, but you can hardly see it. Only four-wheel drives are able to maneuver around, and trees across the road, heavy winds, and lots of snow. And as we told you earlier, the Department of Transportation is advising folks to stay off the road if you can. Only essential driving, but hopefully you can stay inside and stay warm and not get out on the road. We want to go to Joyce Oscar, who's in Murray County. She's been there all night. She joins us now live to tell us what the situation looks like there. Joyce?
Well, Lisa, the news is not good from Murray County. I just got off the phone with the Murray County Sheriff's Department, Tommy Parker. Now, they are in Chatsworth, which is down the mountain about 10 miles from here. I am told from them that they have DOT crews that are lost out here in the blizzard. They have been not in radio transmission with some folks, so it's really gotten dangerous. They said they have four-wheel drive vehicles that have been stranded, that have been left out on the road because they can't even get to these vehicles. They've got crews working, but they're not able to get much done because it's still a blizzard out here. I'm told that the winds could be up to 40 to 50 miles an hour in a few hours, and it's really, really bad. I talked to this deputy, Mr. Parker, and he said he has been here 35 years. He has never, and he said never, seen a storm like this. So we are really having to just bear down and take the brunt of this, and we are going to be here for the long haul. We have Jeff Dorr now standing by in downtown Atlanta, which looks pretty bad even there. Jeff.
We're having a hard time keeping our footing here, Joyce. To quote our poet laureate emeritus Donald Dabney, a man would have to be crazy, a dang fool is what he said, to be out here without his long drawers on. And we can quote him again every time we have a storm. We've never had one like this. Look down this Baker Street downtown. You can barely make out headlights on a car down there. I mean, we're downtown. There are buildings. There's all kinds of stuff down there. You cannot see it. We are just about whited out down here in these blizzard conditions. People are walking around here and they're having a very hard time doing it. We talked to some folks downtown, tourists from out of town, and got their reactions to this springtime in Atlanta.
I came down here expecting about 80 degrees, and here we are.
So what do you think of Atlanta?
Atlanta's beautiful. The weather's typical of Chicago, though.
I think it's unusual.
Atlanta's great, but the weather reeks.
What were you expecting when you came here?
Nice weather. My uncle told me it was going to be about 70. Nah.
We'll be back in Chicago. The wind swirling around them. I think maybe in the background, yeah, you can see some headlights coming out of the misty, swirling snow. All of this, of course, is causing problems with Georgia Power. We are outside of their emergency weather headquarters where they monitor all of this kind of thing and wiping some of the snow off the camera lens there. They have said, and we've had this figure all morning of 60,000 people without power, but they know that that's not up to minute. It is so bad around here, they just can't keep up with it. So it's much more than that. They've got a major transmission line down somewhere in the middle of the state or the southern part of the state. These are, as Karen's been saying, there have been hurricane-force gusts of wind associated with this storm. We were going to talk to some of them. Every now and then some people walk by here. We were going to talk to some. Right now, of course, we're live. None are coming by. So we will toss it back to the people in the studio who I'm going to go to Anchorman school, I think, and get one of those more indoor jobs. Reporting live downtown, Jeff Dorr, Channel 2 Action News.
Folks who have been tracking the weather most seriously are Glenn Burns and Karen Minton. They've been keeping up with all the developments, and both of them join us now live from our weather center with an update on what things look like. What can you tell us? Nice to see you, Glenn.
Well, thank you,
Welcome
Lisa.
to the morning show.
I'm glad you made it
in
here.
We knew we'd get you guys in here to join us on Saturday morning sometime.
Well, it's only the storm of the century, so we thought we'd show everybody.
Well, good to have you.
Obvious. Thank you. It's obviously a storm we're all going to tell our grandchildren about someday, but it is incredible. I know Karen was in here the other day with me, and we looked at the first computer guidance on this storm. We both looked at each other and said, "No way, no way." And yeah, indeed, it is. It is just a tremendously powerful storm. If you keep track of such things as barometric pressure, it has now set a record low of 28.10 inches of mercury. That's equivalent to a very powerful hurricane.
It definitely is. In fact, in Jacksonville, Florida this morning at 8:45, they had a wind gust there in Jacksonville of 76 miles an hour.
And what was the wind gust just last hour in Savannah? It was about 64 miles.
It was. Savannah International had 64 mile an hour wind gusts. Albany, Georgia, where it's snowing lightly now, 59 mile an hour wind gust.
Right. Down in Mobile, Alabama, 2 inches of snow on the ground right now, and it's snowing from Mobile all the way up into Boston, Massachusetts. That's how big and powerful this storm is.
Up across the Blairsville, Hiawassee area, as much as 24 to 26 inches of snow so far, and continues to fall in that area. We're going to have as much as 10 to 16 inches in some parts of North Georgia, other than the Hiawassee area, where it's already, of course, surpassed that. Here in the metropolitan area, as much as maybe 4 to 6 inches, and greater than that in the northern suburbs.
2 hours later at noon, Jeff Dorr was holding his own with winds whipping through downtown Atlanta.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is my life. Listen, we've just noticed down here, down Peachtree Street, we can't tell what it is. There's something dark blown down in the street. Look at that. We cannot see the other side of the intersection hardly right now. Something down Peachtree Street has blown down and it's blocking half the street. But with the weather right now, we can't even make out any of it. I tell you, the wind has been getting worse and worse and worse down here. This is our live truck, this van we're getting blown around. It has been blowing so much, a parked truck. At one point, it literally moved. And we're keep wiping off snow off the lens. We've got our the dish way up at the top of the mast. You can see it blowing around, and it's not even as windy right now, and we're just kind of hoping that thing won't snap right off. Some people have been coming outside just to experience all of this. After all, it is a once-in-a-lifetime event for Atlanta, but people come out, and they are not staying out for long if they can help it. Just walking was painfully slow in the wind, and the thunder was startling.
That thunder and everything, this is the worst blizzard I've been in since I was in Kansas.
Employees at the Hyatt Hotel lowered a truck lift and used it as a makeshift snowplow, Atlanta style. People brought snow shovels out of deep storage and made futile attempts at beating the buildup with salt. Only the bronze statues were outdoors without shivering. Georgia Power warned that the snow is covering lots of fallen power lines.
We want everybody to be aware that there's potential danger, and if you see any down power lines whatsoever, make sure you just stay away from them.
This is the view up Peachtree Street going south now. Oh, we got a little clear spot. We can see some of the tall buildings. Earlier we couldn't see those, and probably in another 30 seconds we won't be able to again. Remember that when power lines fall down, they can be still hot, still sparking, still able to electrocute you even though they are buried under the snow and you can't see them. trees are falling down all around the area. We've got a report over by Georgia Tech that a tree is down on a road, and a MARTA bus right next to that has slid sideways off the street. We have also a report that two of the old, like 100-year-old magnolia trees at the state capitol have fallen, have actually split right down the middle, is what we're told, and are leaning up against the Capitol building. So it is treacherous out here. We've heard of carports blown away, and now look at this, people right here just covering up with their coats. That's kind of odd behavior. She doesn't have it on. She's just covering her hair with it. Anyway, we're live in downtown Atlanta, reporting live. Jeff Dorr, Channel 2 Action News.
I think, Jeff, in this kind of weather, any behavior is okay. Anything goes now.
The being indoor behavior, it makes the most sense.
Right. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Some people are trying to drive today. Our Michael Marsh is keeping an eye on traffic, and he joins us now live from Georgia 400 and I-285. Hi, Michael.
We have to keep our heads down because of the wind gusts. I want to show you here, you have near blizzard whiteout conditions. You watch those traffic signals dancing on those wires up there. I can't tell from here whether they're actually on or not. The area that we're standing at, of course, is the Waffle House here at Georgia 400 and Holcomb Bridge Road. There is power here. There's 2 gas stations open on either side also. People are being very, very careful when they're on Georgia 400. We only saw one plow this morning, and that was going northbound. There was a road grader stuck off to the side southbound. He wasn't doing anything. So the only ruts that are in the road are where people were driving, and so they were staying in like one lane, like a little convoy. It is very dangerous and treacherous out here. Already with the temperature falling the way it's done, down below the snow here is ice. So when you apply your brakes, all you're going to do is slide. It's exactly what you don't want to do. There have been tree limbs coming down. You can see those here in the parking lot because of the gusts of wind. They were talking about Hartsfield 50-mile-an-hour gusts. We've had several of those up here, so much to shake this awning here. It's blowing and shaking the ice off of here. About to lose my hat. That'll give you an idea of what's going on, but there are people out here who are braving this stuff. Take a look at this. I mean, you've got to be dressed warmly. Some people who are housebound are coming over here because this is one of the few places that they can get anything to eat if they didn't go to the grocery store earlier in the week, as they predicted the storm was going to come in. Yeah, it's the storm of a lifetime, but you don't want to be out here. This is very, very treacherous. Now, we're going to take another bird's eye view. We got Steve Gasquet, who's over on I-20. Steve.
Michael, it has been one wild day on I-20. As you can see, a piece of paper just flying in the wind. That's how strong the wind is right here. As you can see, some of the traffic is moving quite well on I-20. Right now, we're not too far from Flat Shoals Road. But about a half an hour ago, or an hour ago, there was a little mishap down the road on I-20 eastbound that tied up traffic for miles. No one was hurt in the accident along I-20, but look at the mess it caused. It all happened when a tractor trailer apparently slipped into a tour bus. A tour bus full of pilgrims from Miami on their way to see the Virgin Mary apparition in Rockdale County. How long have you been here, ma'am?
In this place right here?
Yeah.
For about 1 hour or more.
Oh.
Yes.
What have you been doing for fun?
Just laughing and singing.
The people on the buses and in all the cars stranded nearby realized they couldn't wait for the tow trucks, so they set about to clear up this massive traffic jam themselves. And amazingly enough, they did it. That was just incredible. You know, at one point, DeKalb police were a little bit worried that that bus might slide, but it didn't. No one was hurt, and those people managed to clear up that entire traffic jam with just their muscles. It was incredible, and as one person there said, goes to show what people can do when they all get together and try to work on something in harmony. So that's the situation right now on I-20. We have some people doing what they can to help each other out, but you still have a lot of motorists on the road winding their way towards Atlanta, winding their way away from Atlanta. And you know, one thing that you have seen again and again and again on I-20 are tour buses. Because as we've been saying all morning, even though this is the storm of the century, there are thousands, tens of thousands of people headed out to Rockdale County to see that Virgin Mary apparition there near Conyers. This storm has not slowed them down one bit, so I guess that's a testament to the power of faith. Reporting live on I-20, Steve Gasquet, Channel 2 Action News.
We want to mention also that the airport, Hartsfield-Atlanta Airport, is shut down. No traffic in or out. Joining us now from the newsroom is Channel 2's Susan Hooper with an update on that. Hi, Susan.
Hi. As you said, Hartsfield Airport is shut down. No flights in and out. 3 o'clock this afternoon is about when they think they might be able to get something in and out. People who have been arriving around 10 a.m. found lines from the check-in all the way back to baggage. Among the stranded travelers, you had a group of school children who came from Honolulu. They're on their way to the space camp in Huntsville. Other passengers that we talked to there said basically no idea how long they were going to be there.
How long have you been waiting?
About 30 minutes. It took us about an hour and a half to get here.
What do you think about the snow?
I think it's great. If we didn't have to fly, I'd be out playing in it.
We're headed for Huntsville, Alabama. But because of the road conditions, we're stuck here for a while at least.
No one knows just how long they'll be stuck there. Hartsfield is just one of the major airports swamped by the snow. Storm has crippled air travel to many parts of the country, and if you have air travel plans today, make sure you call your airline directly. They're the only ones who can help you. Just remember, be patient. Take your time.
Delta has announced that they aren't going to fly any flights out of there today. They're going to reevaluate tomorrow. So if you have flights heading out on Delta Airlines, folks, just stay home and don't even try to get to the airport. In the meantime, there are no flights in or out of there right now, not so much because of the snow, but because of some very strong winds. There's a live picture outside the airport now. Well, meanwhile, Governor Miller has declared a state of emergency for all of Georgia today, and he has mobilized the National Guard to help out. I spoke to the governor within the past hour, and I asked him what the state is doing to help people who find themselves in an emergency situation.
We have opened up armories all across North Georgia. But, of course, the problem is the people being able to get to those armories because the roads are so impassable.
What are you doing about that, then? I mean, you have these facilities and this manpower available. Are you even going to be able to provide the services to the people who need them? Because, you know, you're stuck just like everybody else.
We're doing our very best. You see, we're hampered, especially because of the wind, which means that we can't get the choppers up to see what's going on in some places. And, of course, the roads in many places are completely impassable. We're doing very good in keeping one lane open, for example, up I-75 north. The best advice we can give right now is for people to stay at home. One of the things that is happening on the highways, for example, especially on the interstates, is that we're having motorists stranded because they cannot get gasoline because the power is out at the service stations along the expressway. It's a bad situation, and it's going to get rougher.
The story of Joyce Oscar and those 60 people stranded on Fort Mountain continued to develop.
Well, we've been trying. Unfortunately, the temperatures are dropping here and the wind is getting stronger and stronger. As you can see behind me, snow is blowing just everywhere. It has gotten worse and worse as the hours go by. We've had parts of the roof here at the Cahutta Lodge blow off, and we see the parts laying in the snow, but they're getting covered even as we speak. I made some phone calls and I found out that in Eatonton, in Murray County, which is a community that's about 15 miles from here, 2 carpet mills, their roofs have collapsed, totally collapsed. So the wind has really done some damage here. Apparently at one point it caused a gas leak at one of those carpet mills. Fortunately, they were able to cap that gas leak and no damage was done and no one was injured. Now, all day long we've had no power here. We've all been huddled in the lodge, and I want to give you a slice of life of what it's like here in the North Georgia mountains with no power. Outside, ferocious winds blew snowdrifts several feet deep around our mobile bureau. Most visitors here expected a winter wonderland. Instead, they got a mean storm packing a nasty punch. It didn't take long for a few in this group to realize the fun was over. You don't wish you were back in Kennesaw right now?
I think the kids do.
Well, the kids, they think, I guess, that they could watch their TV and do their Nintendo in Kennesaw, but there's no electricity there, which we've heard they couldn't. So. And if the wind would stop, they would have, it's just so ferociously cold out there.
16-year-old Chris Haywood says he's not worried. Haywood is a Boy Scout and has already been able to build a shelter out of the snow. Is it warm?
Yeah, it protects you from the wind. The wind doesn't get you. That's what's making you cold.
Driving any kind of vehicle up here in Murray County is impossible at this point. Getting around on foot is nearly impossible. Desk clerk Pat Patterson has been on the phone with the lodge owner, Floyd Franklin. Franklin's home is within walking distance, but he can't get here.
He tried to get here and he got stuck, and he took him an hour and a half to get out, and he's going to walk over. It may take a couple hours, but he'll be here.
And 90% of the people here in Murray County are without power, I am told. Most of the people here at the lodge came here from Metro Atlanta thinking that they probably wouldn't see much snow and they'd like to come out to the mountains to really get a taste of what the snow would be like. And they got a lot more than they bargained for. We'll be live here all night long, probably for days. So come back to us a little later. Live at Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Joyce, there's absolutely no definition behind you. You look like you're standing in front of a white wall.
It feels, and there is a mountain behind me, by the way.
We are in our 5th hour of coverage for you as we keep you updated on how this storm affects you and where you need to be and where you don't need to be. Actually, I'm going to take a little break here, but joining us now is Richard Belcher, who's going to fill in a little bit. And how was the drive-in for you?
Well, I'm first in one car. I got stuck when there was a huge tree down close to my house. I got my babysitter within 200 yards of the house, and that was the car without change. So I abandoned that car. We trudged to the house, no power at the house. This is over near Emory. Got the chains on the other car. I've learned a trick, I think.
What can you say?
And managed to get in. So if this were baseball, I guess I'd be a relief pitcher, right?
Not a whole lot you can say about a storm that's being described as the worst in the century, but just your feeling. I mean, you've been here a number of years.
A couple of thoughts. If you're driving, there were people who were walking all over the place. I mean, they're in the middle of the roads, and so be careful there, because if you're driving along and you're in a four-wheel drive, or you've got chains, or you've just gotten a little momentum, I caution you, because people have taken the sort of winter weather break today, and they're walking all over the streets, and you may well slide into somebody. So be careful there. Don't expect people to be obeying traffic signals. My experience on the way in, and again, this is in a very limited area, is that once people get up a little head of steam, people are going to keep on going. So if you get to an intersection, do not anticipate, if you happen to have power there and the light is working, don't anticipate that whoever's coming the other way is necessarily going to stop. Again, the pertinent numbers, 150,000 plus Georgians, North Georgians are out of power right now. Governor Miller has declared a state of emergency. There was some preparation, of course, by Georgia Power Company, but when you've got that many people who are out, it's going to be quite difficult to get all the repair trucks out as fast as you'd like. I know my babysitter and my little boy are sitting in a house right now trying to start a fire. I hope they're doing well. It is dangerous, it is cold, and the snow is piling up. One of the many Atlantans who's out in it is our Steve Gasquet, who is in Buckhead. Steve.
Hi, Richard. Let's take a little walk around Buckhead right now. We have some good things to show you. For one thing, the MARTA bus here, it is rolling, and people are mighty happy to be finding a little transportation. A little reliable transportation on a day that the roads are icy. We had a tough time getting from East Paces Ferry onto Peachtree because the road was so slippery. It was packed down ice. But talking about transportation, folks, we have a person who is probably the wackiest guy in all of Atlanta. What is your name, sir?
William Frigakis.
Now, what a day to go out, just hop on your bike and go for a ride. You've got to be nuts.
No, it's pretty warm out here, actually. It's just the wind that you got to worry about. And I figure if this way, if you get stuck, you can at least walk home and not lose your car. So.
Okay, William, how do those knobby tires work?
Not too good, really. I mean, there's so much ice on the road. It's, I guess, like anybody else, if you deal with ice, there's not much you can do.
Well, William, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. And folks,
y'all stay warm.
Well, thank you. You too. And stay safe out there. Watch out for cars.
Yeah, I'm pulling off when they come by.
Now, folks, we've also heard some other reports of somebody on skis. Now, let's get a shot of William, see how he does there, Ozzy. We had reports of a guy on skis going down Peachtree Street, but we also heard that the police gave him a ticket. Now, I don't know exactly what the motor vehicle violation would have been, but apparently it was in violation of the law. Now, folks, we'd like to show you one other thing here, which is indicative of the north side of town. Here in Buckhead, you can see many tree limbs have been torn down by the high winds that have come through Atlanta. And if you take a look over the little Buckhead Park here, you can see a lot of other branches too have come down. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We understand that on the north side of town, many trees have been toppled, mostly pine trees. And there's several reports of trees actually going into houses and ruining the roof and exposing the house to all the elements, to all this snow. And there's some unconfirmed reports about injuries. We're on our way there now. We wanted to tell you about that. And folks, if you're in an area and you see the trees waving back and forth violently, you might want to get to a strong part of your house and use some of the same common sense that you would if you heard a tornado warning, because some of these winds are that strong. And as we say, the trees have been toppling, especially around the north side of the city. So Richard, as we say, we're on our way there now. And as soon as we have more information on that, we'll get it to you.
Steve, any commercial establishments at all open? You look like you're right in the heart of Buckhead there at Roswell and Peachtree. Anything open?
We are right in the middle of Buckhead, and one place is open, and I guess they're getting a free commercial here, Richard. Aunt Charlie's is open for business right now. That's because Buckhead, for some reason, still has power. The traffic lights are still operating here, and actually that's causing more problems than it's helping, because people get up on a hill for the stoplight and they can't get going again. But there is some limited power in Buckhead, and as we say, at least one place is open, and I bet they're doing quite a business.
I bet indeed they are. Steve Gasquet in Buckhead, and heading with some dispatch toward areas where we have heard there's some more difficulty. Steve, drive safely. Let me tell you, we saw a picture a minute ago of a MARTA bus behind Steve's live shot. MARTA, I understand, is saying the trains are running pretty well, the buses are running, but please, if you've got to get somewhere, don't expect the MARTA bus to be running on schedule. They are running today. You should be able to get there, but you may have to be patient, because those the trains may be running on schedule, but the buses are not.
Sometimes our equipment struggled in the snow and winds. The breakup is not your videotape.
We're going to go now live to Joyce Oscar, who has probably seen more of this storm. Although, Joyce, you're from Chicago. You can take this, can't you?
I'll tell you, I thought I saw the most I'd ever see in Georgia, but this is unbelievable. Even coming from Chicago, this definitely is right up there with some of the worst snows I've ever seen. We are on Fort Mountain in Murray County at the Cohutta Lodge. We have no power. We are snowbound. We're not getting out of here anytime soon. We've got snowdrifts out there that are just incredible. It's up to 4 feet deep in some parts.
We lost Joyce Oscar, who was talking to us from Fort Mountain in Cohutta. We have her back. Let's go back to Joyce. You hear? Well, we've got a picture, but no audio. Maybe the picture says it all. Joyce and a frozen man standing with her. We're going to get back to Joyce Oscar as soon as... Do we have it? Let's go back to Joyce. Joyce, you hear us okay? Well... It's that frozen signal going up to the satellite and coming back. We'll get back with Joyce Oscar and her...
Fortunately, we have 2 very big fireplaces, and the owner tells me we've got plenty of firewoods because we don't have any power. So we are hoping and praying that he is right and that we have plenty of food and heat to keep us warm and all right.
Joyce, last question before we let you go this time. If we said to you, we need you to get back to Atlanta right now, could you get down that mountain?
Impossible. Absolutely impossible. And I'm told it could be, if we were being very conservative, it could be Tuesday before we can get off this mountain. This is not a high priority for the road crews. We're about the last that they're going to go try to help. So we're up here for a while.
Joyce, you're a high priority for us. Thanks for all your good work, and we'll talk to you again soon. Right now, let's go to the busiest man in Atlanta, Glenn Burns, who has been, in a sense, following the storm for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
You predicted it, and it has roared in with an intensity that...
I couldn't even foresee anything like this. I mean, nobody can. I mean, just looking at Joyce Oscar, it was just like watching Joyce on the ice shelf at McMurdo Station, Antarctica. It's just that incredible out there. The winds continue to howl all across North Georgia, and the wind chill temperatures 10 to 15 below zero. Here's the snowfall totals so far coming into the Weather Center. 12 to 18 inches from Dalton southward into Rome into Heard County, all the way up to Ellijay. But Blairsville to Hiawassee, 20 to 30 inches of snow there. Snow drifts waist deep. Then we see 10 to 15 inches of snow from Gainesville southward into Canton and Marietta and Carrollton. Much of eastern Atlanta, well, about 3 to 9 inches so far. It is still coming down.
National Weather Service here keep records of snowfall. I know they do.
Yes, our record is 9.5 inches, and I think it was set back in the 1890s. So we will surpass that today. And I don't ever remember 20 or 30 inches of snow in Georgia at all. And that's what we had today up in some of those North Georgia mountain areas.
Yeah, that's why people moved here, remember?
And thunder snow showers, which was another good one. You had
Unheard of.
50, 60 mile per hour winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere in the clouds, maybe winds of 100 miles per hour, and all of those ice crystals were just clashing together, and it's like flint almost, just exploding, igniting, and that's what we're seeing, the big lightning bolts, and they're just as deadly as a thunderstorm coming out of those snow clouds this morning. An incredible thing to witness. It's a once-in-a-lifetime shot.
Susan Hooper is in our newsroom right now with an update on some of the things that are going on in Gwinnett County. Susan.
Well, Gwinnett County is in the same shape as much of the rest of the North Georgia and metro area. Major roads there are passable, but barely passable. The real problems are the secondary roads.
Off-charge chain don't even work. I didn't even get out of there. I had to dig.
What about a board?
A board? Hey.
Board help?
A board? I don't know. I need a shovel. If I had a shovel, yeah, I could dig some trays. This is what I've been using for shovel. Lance Locantro's famous homemade shovel. Digs treads well.
What are you doing out here in this?
I'm out of gas. I need to go to the bank, and I need food.
Lance Locantro finally got a shovel and was able to get going with a little help. Others in the metro area haven't been so lucky. The slippery conditions that have made the roads impassable have also made the hills treacherous. Still others have managed to find the silver lining in this storm.
It's fun. It's about 4 inches and getting cold. Best snow we had in a long time.
So what are you going to do the rest of the day?
Stay out here. Stay out here. It's flooding. Yeah, I'm mad. Have snowball fights.
Once again, in Gwinnett County, that's probably the best thing you can do right now is have some snowball fights and stay home. The Department of Transportation is advising that unless it's an absolute emergency, please stay home, please stay off the roads.
Our Jeff Dorr has been out and about this morning, and Jeff is standing by live. Is it downtown Atlanta, Jeff?
We are downtown Atlanta, and we're at Peachtree and Baker Streets downtown. You know, it's got a lot better down here. It's still pretty nasty and awful, but we can see down the streets now a few hundred yards, whereas earlier we couldn't see to the end of one block. Even sometimes before a car got a half a block, it would just disappear into the blinding snow that was swirling around. It is still windy. It is still cold. We still got snow swirling around, but whether this is just being blown from what's on top of the buildings or if it's new snow, we can't tell. Earlier we went driving around and we got some general impressions of the storm. The storm swallowed the South. It ate buildings and buses. The wind was like a hurricane. Walking at times was frightening. Emergency vehicles were able to move about slowly, but emergencies were everywhere.
We get a lot of calls of wrecks and people falling, and also we had a couple of gunshots today also.
So the regular stuff going on with all this.
Right, still regular stuff going on.
The storm blew out the plate glass windows at one building and did damage to others that won't be discovered until the storm subsides and people can explore what the snow now hides. Trees loaded down with very heavy ice fell over and cracked in half. Some landed on power lines, contributing to the lights out and the storm problems all over the southeast. There weren't many snowmen yet. Kids said the snow didn't pack very well. As people got tired of huddling in unheated homes, they went out to explore.
I think it's great. I wish it was Monday so we wouldn't have to go to work on Tuesday. But it's beautiful.
Is this giving you any problems?
We have no power, but everything else is working.
Jackson, the golden retriever, had never seen snow until today.
This is the first time he's ever seen snow, so he was romping around this morning, and I think he's loving life.
Yeah, he had the coat for it. Everybody else, they need 2 coats, 3 coats, 4 coats, whatever they can pile on. An awful lot of people are without electricity right now. Well over 100,000, over 150,000. They're still counting. A lot of people just in the metro area and all over the state. In fact, it's been they've had power outs in Columbus and Albany and just all over the state. So you are not experiencing anything unique where you are, it's being shared by people all over the South and all over the eastern United States. We're live in downtown Atlanta. I'm Jeff Dorr, Channel 2 Action News.
I think we're going to go right back now to Fort Mountain, which is in the northwest Georgia mountains, and that is at the Cohutta Lodge, where our Joyce Oscar has been in and out of this bitter, cold, and brutal weather now for approaching 24 hours. Joyce, you doing okay?
Well, Richard, we're still here. That's about all I can tell you. We've got all this snow behind us. As you can see, the wind is still blowing wildly. As I have been saying all night long and all day long, we've got about 60 people here. Many of them from Metro Atlanta, many of them wanting to see a snowfall in the mountains, none of them expecting to be in this blizzard. With me now is Beverly Harvard. Beverly's from Woodstock, and you wanted to say something to your boss in Atlanta. What did you want to say?
I wanted to tell Bob Moore, who's the Director of Retail Operations for Publix Supermarkets, yes, that I will not be at work on Monday, possibly Tuesday.
Beverly, why in the world did you come up here?
Came up here to see the snow and just have a relaxing weekend, and I've been washing dishes in the kitchen all morning.
So you're not having the relaxing weekend that you had planned for.
It's wonderful. We've met a lot of wonderful people. It's a great place to come and visit, but I wouldn't suggest you come on a weekend like this.
Have you tried to toboggan off the side?
Yes, I did, but my fat hiney wouldn't go down the hill.
Can you say that on a family television station?
All right, Beverly. What can I say to that? We're having a good time here. We're trying to make the best of a very bad situation. We don't have any power, so you got people playing cards inside and games. We're all going to start getting pretty silly in about 2 days from now. Reporting live at Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Joyce, how are you going to feed people? How are people going to get fed there?
Well, fortunately, the owner of the lodge, Mr. Franklin, tells me that he had prepared for all this. He says he's got plenty of food. He has plenty of firewood. He said, we had prime rib tonight is what he's got cooked up for us. But he also told me last night that they never lose their electricity for more than an hour or two. So I'm starting to wonder about Floyd Franklin.
Well, I haven't had prime rib cooked over an open fire in a long time. I wish you well on that. Joyce, you and your friend, we will check back with you in just a few moments.
Governor Miller says we are in for the roughest night he's ever seen as the temperatures drop lower than you might believe after a day like today. I'm Sandra Bookman. Good evening.
And I'm Richard Boucher, in for John Alston, who is on a special assignment right now with the governor downtown at one of the shelters that the governor has ordered open to try to accommodate some of Atlanta's homeless who are going to be facing a very, very serious night out tonight. There's perhaps 1,300 people who could fit into the Georgia Freight Depot downtown, but that is just a small slice of the problems that we are facing tonight.
We've got crews all across the state and around the metro area. We will begin first with Steve Gasquet, who is standing by live in Sandy Springs. Steve?
Well, folks, we realize that there are perhaps hundreds of thousands of people without power, and if that is the worst thing they have to deal with tonight, they should be rather lucky, because earlier today we chanced upon a terrible situation that happened to a family in Sandy Springs. A double-trunked pine tree came crashing down into the home of Kay and Bob Pierce. They live on Franklin Drive, which is right off Windsor Parkway. And those people were sitting at home, and all of a sudden this tree came down in 2 locations in their house. It blew out windows, it blew out the soffit around the house. It destroyed a lot of trim, and it opened up their house to the elements. But unbelievably, nobody was hurt.
Yes, we're fine. We're perfectly all right. We had just come out of the bedroom. I had made the bed up and come down to answer the phone, and was talking to my married daughter, and she heard the noise through the phone and went back down there, and it was all the way through the window.
And the tree split, so it hit your house twice.
It has 2 trunks. It was a double trunk, and it just split open and just hit both ends of the house.
That quick drive to the store could take a lot longer if you end up behind a tree that's in front of the road, in front of your car, and you might not be able to back up or go forward once you have to stop for that tree. So if there's any way that you can just cool it and stay at home, we would appreciate it. But folks, it's almost a philosophical, existential question here, because if people don't have power, they might not hear us giving this advice. Reporting live upon Roswell Road, and there's a gust of wind. Oh, folks, photographer Dwayne Harden just took a tumble. Dwayne, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, folks, well, that's live TV for you. When the wind just gusted enough to knock him down, it might be enough to convince you to stay home, folks.
Well, Dwayne's an old running back. He's been knocked down a few times and survived.
They don't come any better than Dwayne, do they?
Thanks very much, guys. Well, we're going to now live again downtown this time to Jeff Dorr, who has been standing sort of between the Hyatt Regency and the Georgia Power, one of the Georgia Power buildings downtown where their emergency headquarters is. Jeff.
Hi, we are live out on Peachtree Street and getting a little bit caught by surprise because we're trying to get these guys out of here and not be waving in our shop. Yeah, but they're going to do it anyway. All right. Now we know why there's... Now we know why there are so many people from Chicago and up in the Midwest who move to Atlanta. It's to get away from weather like this. And I think from people like these guys, get out of my shot.
Jeff,
they tell us that 1/4 to 1/3 of the people in Georgia are without electricity right now, perhaps 500,000 people. They have been salting, sanding, even scraping Peachtree Street today, and it is still a mess. They tell us that in Atlanta, the basic idea of how to get rid of snow is just wait till spring or warm weather. It'll be gone soon enough. But today, in a day of seeing the bizarre, get this. Here's a sight you thought you'd never see, a snowplow rumbling down Peachtree Street. People went outside to experience the storm of the century and found it was more severe than they'd imagined.
That thunder and everything, this is the worst blizzard I've been in since I was in Kansas.
A car was stuck on just about every block, and strangers became good neighbors. Some Chicagoans came here for a convention when the weather was 75 degrees. People are already trying to repair the damage caused by gale force winds, and yuppie urban assault vehicles are out in force. Native Atlantans found the weather inconvenient, miserably cold, also a big thrill and some fun. Atlantans accustomed to only shoveling red clay had to break out snow shovels. At the downtown Hyatt, some employees improvised a snowplow out of the lift gate on their truck. Worked pretty well. Georgia Power warned that some of those power lines the trees knocked down could still be hot. In snow, you wouldn't even have to touch the line itself to get electrocuted, so they warn everyone to watch out for lines in the snow.
We want everybody to be aware that there's potential danger, and if you see any down power lines whatsoever, make sure you just stay away from them.
Georgia Power says many people without power should expect it to stay out for 2 or 3 days, and some won't get it back for a week. Like I say, in a day of seeing the bizarre, an ice cream truck is driving by right now.
Most of us woke up worrying about getting out of the driveway. For John Camoli, there's no longer any driveway to get out of.
The trio here has fallen, and the roots have pulled up the concrete in my driveway. As you can see here, I don't know how I'm going to get out.
The tree also snapped power lines here in the Ansley neighborhood.
In some cases, the high winds and the heavy snow aren't the only things causing the damage. This tree, for instance, probably toppled mostly because the roots are old and unhealthy and simply broke apart when the storm came along.
Tall evergreens with shallow roots, like this one, seem most vulnerable. Folks here in the Rock Spring Estates apartments hope to stay dry tonight.
Sounded like a gunshot, and then everyone kind of like just all set up in the apartment.
The building shook.
The building definitely shook. Just came crashing down. We heard this boom.
As the snow slows, the winds keep picking up, and that may mean more trees are on the way down. Steve Filmer, Channel 2 Action News.
Well, once again, live up on Roswell Road above the perimeter. It is so windy up here from time to time you cannot see the traffic coming towards us. But for some reason, folks, a reason that we can't quite explain, we are in one of those rare pockets, an oasis, if you will, of power. You can see the signs that electricity is on up and down Roswell Road.
We've got people coming by with their cases of beer trying to just make a little party out of this in the hotels downtown. 300 to 500,000 customers of Georgia Power are without electricity tonight. That translates into I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of individual people. Georgia Power says it's trying to get to everybody as fast as it can, but wait, it's going to be 2 or 3 days for an awful lot of people, up to a week for many more.
I haven't felt weather like this since I was in Cheyenne, Wyoming during my Air Force days when it got 40 below, and I'm told the wind chill factor out here in Carroll County tonight is 30 below zero. Still some power here in this area where we are now. And here's some scenes we saw on our way to Carroll County coming through Douglas County. On Interstate 20 West near Six Flags, a Baylor University student on his way back to Texas spins out in the snow.
Well, I knew it was going to be rough when I got started, but I didn't think it'd be this tough.
We push the Baylor student back on the road with our four-wheel drive Bronco. In Douglas County, a homeless man making his way up Fairburn Road.
I've kind of been sleeping out all the way up the building, but he let me stay there till weather get a little better.
But you think you got a place to go?
Yeah, I got a place to go now.
An awning over a coin laundry collapses from the weight of the white stuff. Huge drifts against plate glass windows of downtown Douglasville businesses. Homes without power in Douglasville. These two men live within a quarter of a mile of each other. One has power, the other does not.
That's about it.
We've got power at my house, but they don't have it there, so we're still deciding on what to do. Probably going to bring them all over there.
Seems like the obvious thing to do, huh?
Yeah, go over there, it's heat.
Well, they were happy about it, apparently. Now you're looking at how deep the snow here is in Carroll County, and I want to step into it to give you an idea just about how deep it is. That's going up to almost a foot. This is the only place where I know where there has been a weather-connected fatality. There may be others that I'm not aware of, but this happened here this morning in a trailer home. A tree came down on a trailer home. A man, his wife, and their 2-year-old child were in the bed. The tree killed the man. The 2-year-old child and the wife survived. Apparently, they're going to be okay. We do not have their names yet, not been released by authorities. We're live from Carroll County. Don McClellan, Channel 2 Action News.
Don, that little 2-year-old was injured somewhat, according to your earlier report. Have you heard any update on the child?
Stable condition, but will be okay, according to authorities here.
All right, Don McClellan reporting live from a very, very cold and snowy Carroll County.
All right. And if you think you're feeling trapped by all of this bad weather, well, listen to our Joyce Oscar, who is standing by live in Murray County on Fort Mountain. Joyce, we won't see you maybe for another week or so.
Yeah, the word trapped is sounding real accurate right now. You know, a couple of hours ago, the winds had died down. You probably hardly can see me right now, but they had died down. I thought, well, maybe it's over. Maybe we've seen the worst of it. Well, they've kicked back up again, and the wind is blowing the snow around. I'm not sure if it's still snowing or if this is just snow that's being picked up and tossed around me, that is. Now, we're expecting temperatures to get down to about 0 this evening, if not below. So it's going to get really cold here. We do not have any power. We haven't had power since about 3 o'clock in the morning this morning. So it's been pretty bad. We've been watching the power being out all day, and we've been watching the power of this storm. We have a report for you we'd like to show you now. Here atop Fort Mountain at the Cahutta Lodge, we are adrift in snow. In a word, stranded. The wind has been relentless, blowing snow drifts up to 4 feet deep. Four-wheel drive vehicles and cars are buried in the parking lot. At this point, there is no way off this mountain. Fortunately, in the kitchen of the lodge, gas stoves are providing warm meals for the 60 guests here, but all cooking has to be done by candlelight. The activity of choice is sitting by the fire to stay warm, but it's difficult to keep the many children here busy. Sharon and Alan Pollock of Austell brought their 1.5-year-old daughter, Christy. The Pollocks say she is holding up well, considering. Is it difficult to have such a young child here? And something like that?
It's hard to keep their attention and having them bother other people. I don't like imposing on other people.
Kind of wanted to get away from Austell. We was thinking we could come up here and see some real snow. I guess that's everybody's story, but yeah, we wanted to get some real snow, but didn't realize it was going to be like this. Yeah.
And I didn't realize it was going to be like this either, so he's not the only one caught off guard. Now, as I had reported earlier in Murray County, 2 carpet mills, the roofs have collapsed on those carpet mills. We have no word as to what exactly the status is over there, but we are told that 2 roofs have collapsed at those carpet mills. And I have one quick thank you that I want to get out. Earlier today, I live in Midtown Atlanta, and my dogs were lost. Somehow they had gotten lost in the snow, and somebody picked them up at Rollins Security Systems on Piedmont Road and called my husband and got my dogs back. And I just want to say thank you, whoever you are. Reporting live from Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
I think we can.
There were stories of people helping people and others determined to make the best of the blizzard of '93.
You know, Saturday is a big day for weddings, and despite all the cancellations, there were some very determined brides and grooms who were going to pull their weddings off despite the storm of the century.
It will certainly be a wedding Remick and John Thomas will never forget. Of the 50 guests invited, only 13 made it.
I bet you were hoping for a sunny day.
It would have been nice. I didn't expect a blizzard.
And that's exactly what descended on Peachtree Christian Church in Midtown Atlanta.
So, yeah.
Did you ever consider just not doing it today?
No, never.
Why?
Never. Because I've been waiting for this day for about 9 months since we've gotten engaged and didn't even enter my mind.
The father of the bride saved the day, but this morning he wasn't feeling optimistic. And when you woke up this morning and you saw it, what did you think?
That it probably would not happen, but through willpower it did happen.
Willpower and four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive.
What actually did you do? Tell me the story.
I've made 3 separate trips from Dunwoody to here, and it was a rather harrowing experience.
Remick and John tried the customary pictures. It was too painful. The reception was canceled. The caterer couldn't get through. But they persevered with some traditions.
I'm not ruining my shoes for this. 1, 2, 3.
Now the Thomases are trying to get to Puerto Rico by Sunday morning to catch a Caribbean cruise. We wish them luck. Lynn Harrison, Channel 2 Action News.
Tens upon thousands of pilgrims came from all over the United States to see what they believe is an apparition of the Virgin Mary. It's a test of faith to be out in weather like this when you don't have to, but they were there en masse. And now, folks, we also want to show you some pretty wild pictures of their trip to Conyers when a tractor-trailer truck smacked into one of their tour buses. How long have you been here, ma'am?
In this place right here?
Yeah.
For about 1 hour or more.
Oh.
Yes.
What have you been doing for fun?
Just laughing and singing.
It's gotten much worse. One, that side truck slammed into another bus. It's gotten really nasty, but everybody got together and is helping people pull out.
What are you doing?
Spring break 93! Woo! Came all the way from Texas, to Atlanta to get some beach weather, and what do I get?
You're in a bathing suit. You're here with a towel. What's under the towel?
Nothing. It's a way to do it.
Well, they say it's hot Atlanta. Is it hot enough?
Yeah! Woo! Hot enough for us, I guess.
What are your names?
Suzanne and Rhonda. This is Miss Metro Atlanta, and I'm her sister. She wanted to entertain me, so this is the way to do it, I guess.
All right. Stay hot.
We sure will. Thanks.
The winds are subsiding here a little bit tonight, but wind chills will be dangerously cold by morning, anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees below zero up across the North Georgia mountains, and in the Atlanta area anywhere from 0 to 10 below zero, and that is very, very dangerous.
The storm has now killed 4 people in Georgia. In Atlanta, a homeless man died from exposure. A woman from Floyd County was killed in an automobile accident, and a man from Carroll County died when a tree smashed through his mobile home. Also, a man from Dunwoody was killed when a tree fell on him while he was inspecting storm damage outside his home.
Millions of Georgians are without electricity tonight. Blizzard winds blew down trees and power lines all over. Channel 2's Michael Marsh was in Roswell, where fire crews are busy trying to help people who lost electricity.
All day long, fire departments have been called because of trees falling on power lines. And in this subdivision in Roswell, trees were down everywhere. Some still resting on the lines.
We called the power company several times and we couldn't get them, so finally I said, hey, let's call 911. Because that damn thing, you don't know whether it's going to follow the line or come toward the house. We got a baby in here, power's out.
His next-door neighbor braved the howling wind to replace his blown-off screens, which was the least of his worries. No heat for him means his pipes could freeze tonight, so he'll leave the water running and head out.
We're more worried about freezing than we are the pipes freezing, so that's all we can do is just go to a motel and try to take cover.
All the while, power crews were trying to make repairs.
Yeah, open up.
And then waited to be sent to the next trouble spot. One of those spots is where the Andersons live.
No power.
Which means Shannon Anderson has to load a dishwasher that won't run. The dish is remnants of a social gathering they had last night. No light means no heat. Coats and blankets are going to be the rule of the day. The only source of warmth is a gas fireplace. But with temperatures falling into the teens, it'll be cold even indoors.
I guess if it doesn't last too many days, it won't be too bad.
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when it's 12 degrees like they're talking about, it might get a little chilly in here.
That's very true. That's where the little dog here will have to snuggle right up to us.
On the Night Beat, Michael Marsh, Channel 2 Action News.
Downtown Atlanta hotels are filled to capacity, not just the ones like the Hyatt that have power, but one right down the street too that doesn't, with hundreds of guests with no heat and no lights. It's going to be a long night in hot Atlanta tonight.
The greatest concern now is the dropping temperatures. It could get as low as 0 before dawn, and it's expected it will be late Monday before the roads are passable here. Reporting on top of Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Looks like Joyce is on the surface of the moon.
The storm completely shut down I-20 into Alabama and I-75 heading to Tennessee. By Sunday, we could see the problem.
People are trying to get northbound on I-75, and at the same time they're trying to stop for fuel and food at some of the little spots along the freeway here. It is wall-to-wall traffic. They can go nowhere. Again, they are just letting people go northbound up I-75 and southbound as they clear a section to allow the traffic through. But it is a very, very long wait. One guy told us it's about 6 hours just to go 2 exits. Some of these people, of course, have been waiting for 2 days to get up I-75. But if you live around here, some people have been waiting even longer than that.
The line is for kerosene, and this is the only supply in the county. Kerosene for heaters and camp stoves. There's been no power here for 2 full days.
How long have you been waiting in line?
About an hour and 15 minutes.
What's the average wait?
But this is one of only a few outposts along I-75, and everyone's come here creating their own parking lot because there's no other place to go.
I left Atlanta 6:30 this morning and got up to exit 23, and then they had to stop. They were turning everybody around 23, so we pulled off. We sat there for about 6 hours, 6-7 hours, and then a couple plows went through. Then they moved us up to right about here now, and now it's, they say it's going to be closed at exit 28.
The motels are full.
They're letting some people sleep on the floor in the conference room. We slept there the first night, and then someone checked out, thank God. And so we were lucky enough to have a room for the 6 of us anyway.
There's little food and no water. This couple from Ohio spent the night in their car along with dozens of other stranded motorists.
We spent the night up there on the road, and then we turned around this morning and come back.
What was it like spending the night on the road? At Berry College in Rome, they're trying to dig out a metal chair, a makeshift snow shovel. Students are basically trapped here. They've had no power for 2 days too. There's been no heat, and all they've had is cold food.
We had like 8 people in one room last night. They all piled under covers together to stay warm.
The food staff here has done a fantastic job. None of the actual staff leaders were here, just the kids that work on the food crew. They've just done a fantastic job keeping us fed.
Keeping them fed, that is one priority. It has been cold food, but at least they're getting sandwiches. Again, you're looking at a live picture of I-75 northbound where the traffic basically is snarled. People trying to get off the ramp to get to any food or fuel, but because there's no electricity, they can't get any of either. Now, over near Cartersville, which is just over the mountain here from Highway 20 and I-75, they are without power too, but one of the more pressing problems is they are without water. The pumps are not working. So they are trying to replace the pumps so they can get the pressure back up for folks to have drinking water. Now, we also have some tape of a couple of roofs that caved in. There are some manufacturing plants up here, some of the carpet mills you see right there. The weight of the snow has been so heavy, and the water, as it melts on top of that, it is caving the roofs in and pulling the walls in with them. We saw at least 2 mills up here One of them, the Maybank Textile Mills plant that caved in, and the one adjacent to it. And if people are going to work there, they're going to find a surprise if they have to go in tomorrow. Again, I-75 northbound is so slow going, it's unbelievable. They are just allowing people to go up one exit at a time until they can get the plows up there and get the roads clear. The DOT is not taking any chances at all. Reporting live from Chopper 2, Michael Marsh, Channel 2 Action News.
Is there any guess even as to how long it'll take before I-75 is open up into Tennessee?
We have not been told anything. As a matter of fact, the drivers are asking us the same thing, and we haven't heard anything from the DOT yet. I know that some traffic is able to come down from Tennessee little by little. They're doing the same thing southbound. I also want to say that the governor flew up in this area earlier today. I believe he went up to Calhoun. There are more roofs of textile mills that have caved in up there. It is a more desolate situation. In Rome and Floyd County here, 85% of that county is without power. You're talking about a county of about 85,000 people, so you're looking at a lot of folks who are in dire straits up here. No food, and some cases no water, and no power.
Our Joyce Oscar is among those stranded in Murray County, and she joins us now live. Joyce, how you doing?
Well, we're all right. As Michael Marsh had pointed out, some people are in very desolate areas. We are amongst those people. And as the governor had said, there had been some carpet mills that had roofs collapsed. There were some 40. 8 or 9 of them are here in Murray County. So that gives you an idea of what it's like here. We haven't had power for 2 days now. We've all had to conserve now. We've been sitting around fireplaces to keep warm. Now everybody is sitting around one fireplace instead of 2 and trying to huddle close together in hopes that maybe body heat will get us through this thing. We're expecting temperatures to get in the low teens tonight. Another frigid night here in the mountains. It's going to be pretty tough. You were talking about the highways earlier. The DOT out of Murray County here is very concerned about clearing Highway 52. That is the main highway to the mountain area. That's the main highway between Murray and Dalton. Now, we did run into one man who was able to get through today to Highway 52.
Can I say hi, Mom?
Murray County's John Longino is the first new face we've seen here in 2 days. Longino lives deep in the woods, and with his four-wheel drive truck with chains frozen solid, his horse is the only mode of travel.
It drifts up to my chin on 52, yeah.
That's the main road out of here.
That's the only road out of here.
The fireplace here at the Cahutta Lodge has made the cold bearable, but conservation has become the watchword. Water and firewood are running low.
She said realistically this morning from the Georgia Power office in Chatsworth, we better plan on 3 to 4 days without electricity.
Lodge owner Floyd Franklin briefed his staff this morning about the changing conditions. At lunchtime, Franklin used a written outline on an easel to brief the 60 men, women, and children who are guests stranded.
You tend to get cabin fever when you're locked in this long and you know that you can't get off of this mountain and you let your mind play tricks on you. Don't worry about it. You've got all these open spaces and these woods, and if you get irritable with your neighbor, it's warm enough that you can go out in the woods and cool off a little.
Here in Murray County, 95% of the city of Chatsworth is without power or water. By telephone, Murray County 911 operator Brad Rogers tells us the county is awaiting help from the National Guard. Until then, families with young children or the elderly without heat are being directed to a shelter in Chatsworth. And just a quick update. I just want to say that one of the reasons we've been able to broadcast is because of our great TV crew here. Tracy Reeves and Eddie Green have kept us up here, and I am grateful for that. Reporting live at Fort Mountain, Joyce Oscar, Channel 2 Action News.
Is everybody able to bathe? Is there hot water for all of that?
Well, actually, John, none of us have been able to bathe. We haven't had a bath since Friday, and that's what's making it sort of testy here. There is no water. You can maybe sprinkle your face with some snow, but that's about it. It's rough.
John, Joyce, you may be stuck but not forgotten. Governor Miller told us to tell you that when he flew over Fort Mountain today, he saw you outside probably doing a live shot. He waved at you, but you never waved back at him.
Well, if he can come by, tell him to drop some diapers. We got some people here that have babies and they need diapers, so if he's flying over the mountain again, tell him to drop some diapers.
Well, if ever this was a day for prayer, this was it. But you know, scores of churches canceled services outright today. Few of them did, however, manage to soldier on as scheduled this Sunday. In Gainesville, north of here, that produced something that was far from your typical Sunday service scene. Montgomery Memorial Baptist was one of the few churches open anywhere in North Georgia. This morning, about 30 members ventured along slippery roads to try to attend, but they were practical about it. Frank Tatum came in with his Bible in one hand and a shovel in the other. This was a good day to sit around and read the Sunday paper. That is, if you got your Sunday paper. The Times of Gainesville finally hit the streets around 2:30 this afternoon and had a pretty obvious headline: Bitter Cold Trail Blizzard. In the community of Auburn, northeast of Atlanta, we are told someone has built a huge snowman and given him a Georgia state flag to wave. Given the recent bitter fight over the state flag, you've got to wonder if that's a political statement or just someone having fun.
There are so many people stranded in their homes because of the storm. Tonight, the Fulton County Emergency Management Team needs volunteers to help these people out. Channel 2's Vic Carter has more.
We are a very volunteering group of people here in the South, and the problem right now is that there are more people in need than there are people to help. 22-year-old Tina McDonald and her 5-year-old daughter Ashley are hungry. Their cupboard has been bare since yesterday. They live on food stamps and will have to wait till tomorrow to shop for food. So what did you do yesterday during the snowstorm? You had something left over or what?
Yeah, I had something left over and we ate at a friend's house this morning.
Fulton County Fire Chief Delmas Dado came to help them, to drive them from their Boat Rock Road apartment to the Fulton County Airport Fire Station, where he personally is preparing their meal.
The industrial area, the people are so far away from the stations. Getting there is the problem. But now, down in Old National and some other areas where we have the stations and the residents, we can do more good. Out here it's kind of scattered.
The problem is that since the storm hit, workers here at the Fulton County Emergency Management have been matching volunteers with four-wheel drive vehicles with people in need. But there aren't enough volunteers to meet the demands in parts of Metro Atlanta.
We need Metro Atlanta people, West Atlanta, South Atlanta, and East. We have exactly 2 people from the East. So we definitely need people from the East.
Now, as Ms. Pope mentioned, on the north side, there are plenty of people with four-wheel drive vehicles and car phones who are willing to help out. Or on the south side, the east side, and the west side of Atlanta, they are desperately in need of people who have four-wheel drive vehicles, have a car phone, they haven't had anything to drink, any alcoholic beverage within the last 8 hours. They are in need of your vehicle and your ability to drive around and help people out.
Vic, we're sure there are some people out there that will answer the call. Thank you. We don't want to leave you with the impression that the great storm of 1993 was all bad. Even in the midst of all the madness, there were plenty of people who found a way to have some fun. And what better place to do that than Piedmont Park? One quick glance, and you might mistake this for some ritzy ski resort in Colorado. But guess again, this snowy slope is smack dab in the middle of Atlanta's Piedmont Park. And these southern snow seekers are no less serious about their powder, although it is comically obvious by the vast array of makeshift sleds and toboggans that the white stuff is a seldom seen but no less welcome pleasure here.
Looks like a clothes basket, dirty clothes basket here. Nice, nice new modern technology here.
You know what though? It works. One rule of thumb seems to be that if you can fit your bottom in it, one way or the other, it can get you to the bottom of the hill. And while there were a few folks that had obviously done this snow thing before, the object of the game on the slopes at Midtown seemed to be just to have a good time.
Exhilarating. It is great.
Thrills, spills, and chills. That's what a big snow is supposed to be about.
It's fun to slide down the hill, but it's a little rough.
And once again, Atlantans prove that they can find a way to find the fun in just about any situation.
On Monday, March 15th, the blizzard of '93 became a story about traffic and the big thaw.
We're going to check in now with Tom Regan, who has more traffic tie-ups as a result of this ice and the snow and small accidents. Tom?
Hey, Vic, they're having a real rough time here on Roswell Road between Wyuka and Chastain. You can see for yourself that semi down there. I guess the driver just kind of gave up. This is an incline running south on Roswell Road, and all morning long we've been seeing cars spinning and sliding up this hill. It looks like there was some sand and salt dropped perhaps earlier in the day, but it hasn't done much good. Some cars are stranded on this hill. Others are gradually inching their way up.
But clearly, I think the folks here are in desperate need of some additional salt and some more sand. The highway trucks, I'm sure, are preoccupied in other areas of the city, but they sure need it here. And it's not likely to improve unless they get some salt or sand, or the pavement warms up and all this slippery stuff melts away. We're going to stay here for a couple of minutes more and see what happens, and we'll keep you updated. Reporting live from Chopper 2, I'm Tom Regan, Channel 2 Action News.
And now we're going to check in with the person that everybody's been calling about, wanting to know how she's doing, stranded up there on top of the mountain in Cohutta Lodge, our Joyce Oscar.
And Joyce, we're going to give you our Medal of Courage. How are you doing up there?
We're hanging in as I'm hearing that things are getting back to normal in Atlanta. Here on top of Fort Mountain, things are pretty much the same. We've got a virtual heat wave. That is the good news. It's 19 degrees now, so we're a little bit better. But if you can see the drift I'm standing in, this is one of the smaller drifts of snow. It gets a lot deeper as you walk out here, and I'm a little bit afraid to walk any further, okay? We still have no power. We haven't had power since Saturday morning. We've got 60 people here. We've got little children as young as a year and a half old. We're starting to run out of supplies. We were told about conservation methods yesterday, so we have plenty of food for about a week. Water is getting to be a little bit of a concern, but we do have the snow. We've got tons of snow, so we can melt snow, and that is good. Firewood, we're running a little low on firewood. Talk is, though, if we run too much low, we can just go to these trees here and start chopping down some trees, and we have plenty of axes, and we can do that. I've even heard some of the people here, they're at the point now where they want to take some shovels and try digging themselves out down the mountain, because they figure that that'll be a lot faster than anyone coming up here and getting us.
Right. And actually, I guess getting out and getting those things yourself, like firewood, actually might be pretty good therapy for those people who have been inside. So you are in need of things like water, diapers, you said for the babies?
Yeah, batteries for flashlights, because the batteries are running low on flashlights. We have a limited supply of flashlights. We're even running out of candles.
Okay, we're making a list here. I'm making a list of things that you need, and I'll see if we can do something. I don't know exactly what it would be. Maybe we'll just fly Chopper 2 up there and drop something to you. I don't know.
It sure would lift the spirits here. It would be a great help.
This morning, the storm caused all kinds of problems for motorists. It also slammed the brakes on travel in the skies. Channel 2's Jeff Dorr joins us now live from Hartsfield International Airport, where things are slowly but surely returning to normal. Jeff.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well out here now, Vic. In fact, we can use the airport to kind of give you a little bit of a view of what's it like all around the area, where we've got a lot of car traffic. It's opened up really nice. Down here, we're going to show you, this is our kick index. Isn't that great? That's just nice melting slush. And we move back farther and get out here to where we've actually had sun. We'll look down at the ground again. Ozzie Baldwin, well, there you go. It is dry, clear, and this is what we can expect around a lot of places now. So the roads, especially the main roads, are looking very good. The trick is getting to the main roads. Travel problems were probably worst right outside your home. The first step out was most likely your iciest.
Slippery, real slippery, where I had to hold on to the rails, and even the railings were ice packed.
Neighborhood streets were worse, but traffic and yesterday's sunshine had pretty well cleared the main thoroughfares. Right now, it's not the going that's hard, it's the stopping. Whoa. South of Atlanta in Clayton County, Terra Boulevard, like many other roads, was mostly clear, but booby-trapped with icy patches.
Wife's coming up through and hit that spot there, and her body went sliding, and she went this way, keeping hitting him.
2 Delta employees joined us, and we got the car out of the snow. The airport was fully operational this morning, but employees are dealing with a log jam of luggage. Baggage carousels were as chancy as roulette wheels. Mel Brooks of Atlanta picked through a sea of suitcases looking for his.
But now my bag is somewhere on this side of the Mississippi River, and so I expect it to find its way home in a few days.
And you're just poking and prodding through here?
Yeah, I don't know where all these people are. They belong to these bags, but I guess if they'll have patience, they'll find each other.
I'm Jeff Dorr, Channel 2 Action News.
The story of Joyce Oscar and 60 people stranded on Fort Mountain continued to develop.
It's been a day of ups and downs for us. At first we heard that there might be some road crews coming out of LJ to perhaps clear some of the highways and we might be able to get out of here. Then we heard, no, the highways are too bad. They're not going to be able to make it. Then we heard that there was a power crew that has spotted the break in our line here and might be able to restore power in an hour. Well, that sort of blew out too, because they were not able to get into the actual spot where the power has been having the problems. So it's been a day of ups and downs, but let me show you one of the ups. The highlight of day 3 stranded on top of Fort Mountain, the landing of Chopper 2. On board, badly needed supplies like diapers immediately going into the hands of the people who had run out. Also on board, water, and none too soon. Today, water ran out, and we began bringing in pots full of snow. Everybody is chipping in now, shoveling walks around the Kahutta Lodge, helping to keep the operation running. Spirits began rising with the temperature, and some of our youngest visitors actually preferred eating snow to warm meals. Most of the 60 men, women, and children here are from Metro Atlanta. It's been 3 days in bitter cold without heat or showers. Considering the circumstances, there's been very few complaints.
It's very relaxing. I'm not in my regular grind, regular routine back home. I'm getting plenty of rest, meeting lots of new people, enjoying the beautiful scenery.
Tell me something, Judith. Do you miss the heat at all?
I hate cold weather.
It's rustic, I guess would be it was romantic, now it's rustic. It's heading towards maybe, what's a good word? Primitive.
And he's so right, too. It is very primitive. Earlier, we also had a National Guard helicopter land and offered to take anybody who had any kind of health problem out of here. Everybody said they were okay and didn't really need to go. I also wanted to mention that our Channel 2 chopper said that they would take us back if we wanted to and bring another crew and all this. And basically what we've got situation here is we don't want to leave the mountain until everybody can leave the mountain. So we're going to stick with it and stay here until everybody can go down. And the other thing is, thanks for the cards, guys.
So someone else who hopes you get off that mountain pretty soon are your daughter and your husband. What? Jerry and Jennifer.
Oh my God!
The magic of television.
You have a monitor there, Joyce, so that our viewers know what's going on.
It's a little fuzzy, but I can see it.
Well, let's have a little close-up.
Yeah,
there we go.
Hi, Jennifer, sweetheart. Hi, baby. I miss you. I miss you too, Jerry. I love you both.
Okay.
Jerry, do you have power?
Yes,
you okay
yes, we have power. Everything's
She looks
fine.
great. Is she walking completely yet without me?
Yes, totally.
I'm missing so much up here. Has she said any words like, Mama,
She's saying
come
Mama
home?
right now. Mama, come home.
I miss both of you very much.
Okay.
Hang in there. Keep the faith. We're coming off this mountain, folks. We will get off the mountain.
Well, the long snowbound ordeal on Fort Mountain in North Georgia is over tonight. The National Guard airlifted 2 groups of sick and anxious people from the Kahutta Lodge today. In all, 60 people were snowbound there since the storm hit Friday night. Among the people who left the lodge in Murray County today were our reporter Joyce Oscar and photographers Eddie Green and Tracy Reeves. And Arlen Harrison reports on the homecoming.
The Night Beat staff welcomed back our colleagues and snow soldiers, photographers Eddie Green, Tracy Reeves,
Get too close.
and reporter Joyce Oscar.
I want to see the hat off. That's what I want to see.
No. Their odyssey began Friday afternoon when they arrived at the Kahutta Lodge in Murray County. Our crew and 60 lodge guests were trapped in 6-foot snowdrifts. Yesterday, with supplies running low, Chopper 2 airlifted badly needed diapers and water to the stranded guests. Today, the National Guard airlifted 2 groups of the sick and anxious off the mountaintop. This evening, the National Guard plowed enough of the mountain road to allow more to evacuate. Eddie Green says he followed reporter Jeff Doerr's advice and wore his hat to bed and worried about his wife.
And what I was most concerned about was Laura. She's 9 months pregnant, doing 2 weeks.
Joyce told horror stories to her colleagues. Then it was time to go home.
Baby girl, do you remember me? Do you remember me?
Her husband, Jerry, was glad to have Jennifer's mommy back.
Jerry, do I really look that bad?
You smell.
10 guests are left on the mountain. They will leave in the morning. On the Night Beat, Lynn Harrison, Channel 2 Action News.
From every Georgia community, there are stories of people helping people through the blizzard of '93.
In Cherokee County, we have the story of a public official who gives new meaning to the term public service. Our Lynn Harrison joins us live from Cherokee County with the story. Lynn?
You're right, Pam. We're here in Cherokee County where there are still 10,000 people with no electricity. Cherokee County's newest county commissioner is being called a hero by many people in this area for his personal efforts. He credits the local firemen and the National Guard. Watch this, then you decide. As you drive through the farmland of Cherokee County, all the downed power lines show the work that still needs to be done. Cherokee County's newest commissioner, Bobby Hawthorne, has done much to single-handedly clear these roads long before state crews arrived.
So we went out and rented equipment from private contractors and started cutting roads and, plowing the roads, just taking rubber-tied front-end loaders and motor graders and just every one we could find, just put them to cutting roads and finding chainsaws and getting people to cut them so we get the people out.
Virgil and Mary Callahan live here with their 6-month-old baby who was on a heart monitor. For 4 days, they were trapped without food or power. Hawthorne sent his 2 sons in here last night, and with volunteer firemen, they cut 150 trees to rescue the Callahan family.
When they rescued her, they said all the work was worth it.
Hawthorne seems to know everyone. We ran into this family. Hawthorne rescued them on Saturday when they were trapped in the snow, and he pulled them out. Dale Selly didn't realize then who his Good Samaritan was.
Okay, he's Bobby Hawthorne then.
That's
okay.
Who he is.
I heard about him on the radio.
Here at the DeBoard household, wild hogs are eating the food that spoiled in the freezer and was thrown out.
A lot of people have put snow in their freezers to make it last another day or two longer. So those people, if we don't get generators, they're going to lose all their sweat and toil last year putting all the food up.
Yeah. Well, tonight, Hawthorne, who has had very little sleep in the last 5 days, is going door to door delivering sandwiches to people whose food has gone bad. Radio network affiliate WCHK has contributed to this report. We're live in Cherokee County. Lynn Harrison, Channel 2 Action News.
The stories of people living through the blizzard of '93 continued for days. Here at Channel 2, the reporters and anchors you saw on the air were supported by scores of producers, directors, photographers, editors, graphic artists, and researchers.
A lot of hard work also came from people in all of our other departments: local programming, public affairs, sales, production, engineering, creative services, programming, accounting. Anybody who could get out of their driveways and into the newsroom contributed to our coverage that you could count on.
We'll leave you with the names of those people who made this all possible. Goodbye.
Goodbye for now, and we'll see you on the news.
Channel 2 Action News, now at 5, 5:30, and 6. Coverage you can count on.